Good evening, everybody. We're gonna open the public hearing. It's on our town dog licensing law. Is there anyone here to speak to this? If so, please keep it 3 minutes or less.
Unless there's no any board member that wants to speak to it, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing's closed.
Pause the recording for 4 minutes. Good discussion.
No. I said I would entertain a motion
Oh, yeah.
and it reads, I would annulate.
Good.
Stop.
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. We'll start approval of minutes from our regular meeting of March 12th. Are there any comments on the minute? Any changes or
Move to approve.
we have a motion to approve? We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Correspondence, we have none. Town finances report. Angela.
Okay, good evening. Thank you. We did prepare the report in advance. It is first quarter report, so where we would expect your largest expenditures to be would be in the case of payroll and personnel services. So those are expending appropriately at just about 25% for all of them. Revenue wise, we have filled some of our buckets in the various funds. I don't know if there's any specific questions. Okay, hearing none, we did present also the cash position, which is some of the cash is held for special purposes. And that is delineated out of the regular cash accounts for the town of Canton. Okay. And then just moving into the town clerk's report, we did reconcile that account as well. And the transfer to the town this particular month was $756. So it would be revenue. Heidi continued to collect the town and county taxes. And aside from that, everything accounted for as expected in the Canton Town Clerk account.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Audit committee.
General Fund A, 32,542.49. Town outside B, $2,845.27. DA, townwide highway, 22,137.95. DB highway, $7,328.30. Special fire, $4,588.83. Special lighting is zero because the last month we overpaid and so we get the credit for this month. And that is why that appears at zero. And trust and agency was $23,903.82. And I move to approve.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion's carried. Now we're up to department head reports. Steven. Where are you?
Right here,
There you are.
kind of a small report this month, just the normal winter and springtime stuff. Winter hasn't given up yet. We had the recent ice and sleet storm there a couple weekends ago that kept the crew pretty busy right there, and we got pretty lucky. Nothing got real crazy slippery through that, so made things bearable. Still, patching potholes and putting stone on gravel roads whenever the weather allows, and obviously it snowed yesterday, so. We were able to get out today with a patching truck, so that always helps. The crew did complete their annual M-Shot refresher training course, last week. That's a full day. It's like 7.5 hours. of information. And, we are hoping that winter will be over soon so we can get going on spring cleanup, and so we're through that to get into, road construction projects as soon as possible. Just a little bit too wet right now, and we keep having to go out and sand, so it's kinda wasted effort at this point. Have to go back and redo it. Any questions from anyone?
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Cindy, you're up.
Hi, good evening.
I'm gonna excuse myself. if that's okay.
Well, the thing that changed on my report was April 8th, it was supposed to prove out with the county, but the state came down and sent the star reports. I'm gonna make sure the ones that disqualified came off the roll, so I'm in the process of editing all that right now, and it's gonna be tomorrow that we're gonna prove out on the roll. And everything's all set and ready to go, and we should have our numbers soon, and that was about it. Anybody have any questions on my report?
No, thank you, Cindy.
Okay.
Casey,
Hello. So we have 20 visitors in the historian's office, so steady but not busy. I joined the Association of Public Historians for New York State. Continued my networking efforts and familiarizing myself with the resources I have at hand by going to the county clerk's office, doing some property research there, going to the Silas Wright House, the St. Lawrence County Center for History and Culture, using their resource library, using ancestry.com at the library, and then just meeting with other local folks who have done their own historical research. Continuing to develop the volunteer program and the collections management policy. And when we start getting volunteers in there, I figured we want to streamline our research efforts, so I put together a standard research log that we'll all use. And then I just continue to work on tasks as they come to me from individuals. And also I was asked to put together a list of all of the cemeteries within Canton, and I identified 17.
there's only one I noticed that's missing. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but isn't the Foote family cemetery in town?
That's yeah,
So
but that's a private.
that's why I didn't include it. I did find it, but it is on private land. It's on their own private property,
Okay.
and it's not designated as a
I
cemetery.
gotcha, okay.
So
Cause I remember when they came in
Yeah.
and had to get board approval to,
Yeah, but it's they're private family and.
and I still think they pay taxes on that property, like it's not
Yeah.
designated as a cemetery.
Right.
okay, gotcha, okay.
And then I know there's a memorial garden at one of the churches too.
Sure.
But I have addresses when I could get them and coordinates where I couldn't get addresses, so if people wanna do a scavenger hunt of all 17 cemeteries, they can use Google Maps to find them all.
I think you got them. So, thank you.
Mike,
Thank you, John.
wake up over there.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Issued 3 permits for the month of March. Project cost of 30,000. Fee amount collected is 133. Throughout the month, I come for Lee's office, I completed the recertification for the pro housing certification. Apparently this is gonna be a yearly thing, for the, HCR. So I completed that to keep the certification for pro housing. Myself and Jim, met with, Reactivate Solar, as they're looking for information and getting all the information to see if it's feasible to, do a project on Minor Street. Somewhat across from Taylor Park, up this way part, a little bit closer. That meeting lasted, I don't know, about a half an hour. They're gonna have to do a lot more than the normal, because they are in a residential agricultural district now. Also, I did keep it in my report, the FEMA public hearing notice, was extended until April 30th. Due to, calling and emailing and speaking to the person that's, the head of the whole thing. Apparently, as I said last month, the hearing was, information was good, but you couldn't, give a lot of comments on it. So the woman didn't realize that, so they extended the deadline until April 30th. Other than that, that's about it, John. Thank you.
Any questions for Mike? Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Meg?
Let's see here, just some highlights to pick up. Probably the biggest thing is, it was just released that the New York State Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program is out. So in the midst of doing my other job, they were kind enough to give us about 4 weeks to get it all done, so that's nice of them. But Lee's got us started, so we're just boots to the ground trying to get it done. It's pretty nice opportunity, with up to 90% of project costs covered with a cap of $1 million. The rec committee, we've met a couple times talking about ideas and stuff like that. So we're working away on that. Ice season ended up pretty well. We ended up at just over $114,000.
Oh, yeah, good season.
Good seasons, over $7,000 of what we expected. So that's nice. And, yeah, it was good. We hosted a tournament the last weekend, and then, that really helped us get our spring project started. So it's always nice to get those private revenues at the end of the year, because it's the end of our village budget, so it's nice to have a little money in the pot to get spring going. Yeah, other than that, happy to answer any questions.
We have any questions for Meg? Thanks, Meg. Lee?
Hi, a number of infrastructure related things going on. The secondary water sources project is almost complete, just, we actually got, the filtration system up and started, so we're hoping that will be done by May and operational. Funding for several other projects, including water and stormwater. Several local water revitalization programs going on. We have 3 open grants right now through the LWRP program. The one for Willow Island and Minor Street. We're just working on a final amendment on that to get that one wrapped up. And we have one to update our waterfront plan. So we are working on a request for proposals for that one. We have it drafted or are in the midst of a draft for that. And we have a kickoff meeting for the newest one, which is a village award for the next phases of the Willow Island project, which includes shoreline stabilization. So things are underway with those. The developers for the Midtown Plaza were here in March and did several stakeholder interviews. They'll be again later this month to do some more and possibly meet at the joint meeting of the town and village to kind of update you on what's going on there. And there'll be public engagement sessions later this spring as well. Main Street projects are finishing up by the end of May, so we'll be wrapping up the final renovation project, 31 Main Street and getting the alley project completed. We're reviewing a draft work plan and budget for the tree grant that we got. That's to do several removals in the village. And, of interest to this board particularly is we've been talking with, the new owner of the Church Creek, mobile home park. And we spoke with, OCR or HCR, Office of Homes Community Renewal, about funding opportunities, and learned that prior to doing a CDBG application for implementation, we need to have a preliminary engineering report and needs assessment done. So it appears as though this year we may be, there's a technical assistance opportunity through CDBG as well. So they're recommending that we may want to pursue the technical assistance to get that report done first. And that will sort of be the roadmap, including cost estimates for, all the upgrades that he wants to do in that park. So kind of changes the timeline a little bit, but it's a necessary step. It may be an open round, it may not be, it may be through the CFA. So, either way, we'll probably hear in the next month or so what that opportunity is.
Yeah.
That's a good summary.
Any questions for Lee? Thanks, Lee. Can I get a motion to approve department head reports?
Make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Carried. Committee reports.
So highway met, I believe twice, we've got a resolution for later, from highway. It's road construction for this year. Rec met a couple times. Megan covered that quite well. Boulder did not meet, but we will be. Yeah, this is next week. It for mine.
Any from yours, Wayne?
The audit committee, we met this morning. We went over the comprehensive plan. And we're actually, the subcommittee of that is actually meeting on Monday, and we're gonna come up with our attainable goals that we can actually measure, and then see what, something that at the end of the year, we can go, okay, we were looking to get this done. And then, just kind of clear out the plan, and so what's already been done and what can be worked on this year and get it done, and what can't be. But other than that, that's about it.
Moving on, old business, we have none.
Just a second, Communications Technology Committee met.
Oh,
Do you
okay,
want to
go
bring
ahead.
that up, the recommendation that we have about, the website to have multiple alerts on the homepage?
Mhm.
So we met and talked about that, and it's a fee of $375, so it would be split between the town and village, but this will allow multiple alerts to be on the homepage, so, both village and town agreed for this recommendation, but that way, like, when the GAR stuff is up there, we don't have to worry about taking it down to put, like, if we close the office and we put an alert up on the homepage, we won't have to take one alert down and it fall on the clerk's offices that something doesn't get put back up immediately. So our recommendation from the communications committee is that we do that.
So 375 divided by 2.
One a piece.
Yeah.
It's just a one-time fee. So that was discussed in the CT meeting.
I think it's pretty inexpensive and it's well worth it to have those alerts on that page, so.
And then I think, it was discussed about that going on the joint agenda for further discussion.
Right. Okay, anything else? Guess I'm in a hurry. All right, now we're up to old business and there is none. New business. Number one, Gar Associates revaluation presentation, May 14th in the boardroom. Actually, we're gonna be holding that in the courtroom. So just wanted to get that out there, let everybody know. Our normal meeting time, 6 p.m. Number two, dog licensing law. I'd like to table that tonight. We've got information from Ag and Markets. There's a section that we should look at probably removing from what we have here. So I'd like to, make a motion that we, have that removed and move the public hearing to June 11th at 5:50 p.m. Nobody's opposed to that.
The section he's referring to is, section
Section E.
purebred licenses.
Ag and Market feels we don't need that in there.
If you choose to keep it in there, their recommendation is that it needs to be more clear. The definitions of them.
Where did it come from originally?
This has been the law that's been on the books for a long
It was
time.
in the old law.
Yeah. The only thing that was changed from the old law is strictly the licensing fees. I didn't. So,
There was a question that was brought to our office, and we didn't know how to answer it, so I went to
Hey.
Dan first.
Oh, boy.
I went to Dan Moyer and his suggestion was I needed to ask Ag and Markets. The town only has one person that has purebred dogs and they don't sell or any of that. They just are their own purebred dogs. And she said that most towns have already eliminated this language from their local laws.
Oh, gotcha.
And she said that, this is from Janet Collier, that the purebred licensing was intended for breeders, for purebreders for selling or shows, not
Okay.
just to have, so that's, you guys have to decide that, but.
I'll look at it. I didn't dig into the local law itself, with the exception of the changes, so we'll take a look at that and talk to Ag and Markets and send out a recommendation to you with the local law. As you know, what we'll have to do is, when you change it, you gotta do a new public hearing. Okay, so we'll,
Even if you're removing something?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we'll redo it. And I think it's probably worth noting at this point, we're gonna do the firefighters exemption local law that same night.
Mhm.
I have that right.
Yep, that's number 4 on my list.
Just as a point of interest, this is dog licensing fees. And I was going through an old budget of mine back from when I was supervisor. This is 1999, 26 years ago. And in that budget, I had revenues, dog licenses, $4,500. Today, we have dog licensing, $3,500. So, yeah, either we got a lot less dogs. Or we don't.
Saves that down.
Yep.
$1,000 decrease.
So we have a motion on the table to take a look at this and have a public hearing on June 11th at 5:50 p.m. Can I get a second to that motion?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's carried. Number 3, approve highway construction projects. Steven, you want to speak to this?
He left.
Oh, he left. Okay, Jim?
You were taking so long in the meetings that it's sick of it.
I understand.
Picked up and left.
It was snowing.
So,
We've been going so long it stops snowing.
It was snowing on the way home.
the committee went through or looked at what his recommendations were, and what we decided on was doing 8,440 feet of Little River Road at a cost of its complete reconstruction at a cost of $320,720. Same thing on Kelly Road, a complete reconstruction of 5,384 feet at a cost of $222,868. A 2,100 feet on the Morley Potsdam Road cost us 75,538. And so when I say Morley Potsdam Road here, we're talking about the far side of 310. So Morley Potsdam goes from Morley across to Sykes to 310, but then there's a short section of Morley Potsdam that goes from 310 to the Potsdam town line. That's the section we're talking about doing here. Town Line Road, which is up past the silo, 6,889 feet of that at a cost of 138,804. And 2,115 feet of the Hale Road at a cost of 63,049. For a total of 4.72 miles and a total cost of $829.79. And if there's money available, when those get done, they'd also like to do 5,520 feet of the Mead Road starting at Langdon's Corners. And again, that would be a cost of $175,460. What may affect whether that can get done or not is what the escalator might be in terms of asphalt over the course of the season. And they don't run into any problems with the projects they've got lined up, then we'd have that money. And if that was the case, then I think that puts us up like 5 point, that'd be another mile, so it'd be 5,500 feet would be more than a mile.
Mhm.
That'd put us up to, over 5.5 or 5.75 miles, so. So I make a motion to approve these.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
I,
I,
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's carried. Number 4, set public hearing for volunteer firefighter exemption law. We would like to do that on June 11th as well at 5:55 PM. Can I get a motion to that effect?
so move.
second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Brings us up to public comment. This time we ask anyone that has any comments, we're here to listen, and please try to keep it to 3 minutes or less so other people can speak. Is there anybody here to comment? No? Okay, with that, I ask for a motion to go into executive session for these 3 items: CSEA labor agreement negotiations, Flick franchise agreement, matters pertaining to employment of a particular person. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
second,
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
I.
I.
Aye. Carried. Thank you, everybody.